Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. You saw the title of this video. I'm just going to get right into it. I'm not going to do a blow-by-blow of the trial of Tim Norman. It is going on right now. I've been listening to Randomness of Vell, and he's giving a blow-by-blow account of the trial. I'm just basically coming on because I just want to voice my my take on things. How do you get to a point, and this is my first question, how do you get to a point that you hate somebody so much that you want them dead? First I thought maybe it was just the insurance money, and that he was falling on harder times. He was Tim Norman, the way it's been presented, Tim Norman had began to have some financial problems, and so that would, that in his mind he could just, I'm not going to use the M word or the K word. I'm just going to say unalive. That's been the word, because YouTube is not liking the M and the K word. But he did K him. He did M him. But I will say he unalived him. He got to the point where, your life is just meaningless. So I'll put some insurance money on you, and I'll put out some insurance policies, because it's been said that Tim has told people, well, the insurance guy, he's not going to live very long anyway. And it has come out that Tim, and I'm going to say allegedly, it's been said, it's been reported, it's been said that he, meaning Tim, it was after Andre had been unalived, and it was even said at the funeral, somebody came to Tim and said, my condolences to you. And Tim told him, F him. F him. How do you say that about a person? Why even go to the funeral if you're gonna have that type of attitude? All of it anyway was a show. He went to the funeral with the bulletproof vest on, which was a show. It was said that he had his goons with him, and nobody really, there's a lot of people there, so no one would be able to point them out, and they were armed, allegedly. So, but how do you get to the point where you hate someone so bad that you hire people to get rid of them? How do you hate that much? So the point I was going to take, and I went off into a tangent, I think the insurance money was the icing on the cake. I just think he hated Andre so bad he wanted to get rid of him. And yes, money is involved, even to the point where, okay, if something happened to Robbie, who would be in her will, I don't want you in the will. Who are you to come in our, yes, your family, but who are you? You were never close with us. Who are you to get any of the money? It's so many things that can be involved, that involves money. But I think the real deal was, for whatever reason, and there could be many reasons, how did you hate that young man that much that you would trick people into acting this whole scene out for your gain? Things have been brought out in the courtroom, and it appears, and I don't know, it appears that Terica, they're saying that Terica was not knowing that Tim was going to unalive Andre, that she thought that he was going to be confronted because supposedly he has stolen $200K from Robbie out of her safe. So Terica's thinking he's going to be confronted, maybe roughed up, but not unalived. And yes, that word sounds weird, but I already explained why I'm using it. That in the courtroom, the things that was presented led people to think that she didn't know, she wasn't a part of that scheme to ultimately unalive Andre. I don't know. It is, the person who presented all this information was saying it was clearly seen that she was slow. I just don't know. I just don't know, with all the things that's happening and you getting burner phones and you're doing this and you're doing that, to just beat somebody up. Part of it, the testimony, Terica was thinking Tim wanted to retrieve at least some of the stuff that supposedly Andre took. Okay, now, many of you probably think the same way that I think. Tim robbed his mama, allegedly. But that's what I believe. Tim robbed his mama. He has a history of sticky fingers, guys. He spent 10 years in prison for robbery, guys. And yes, Andre might have gotten into trouble, but as far as I have heard, there's nothing on Andre's record. His mom would just wanted him to be a successful young man, and maybe he was going into a route and maybe hanging with people that were undesirable. But according to the information I've got, Andre does not have a criminal record. Tim does. Andre was asked to do a lie detector test. He did one, and because he had smoked some marijuana, it was inconclusive. So it was set up again. Robbie had things scheduled for the day to get that lie detector again. But unfortunately, he was killed, he was unalived, before that could happen. And my question was, okay, Robbie, you wanted Andre to take the lie detector test. Did you ask him? That part has never been clear to me. Did you ask Tim? When Tim has the background of taking what's not his, for robbing people of their money, which he served 10 years for when he was 17. He has the history. Andre didn't have that history. So why have Andre take the test and you don't ask your criminal son? So getting back to the question, how much hate in your heart do you have for someone to put things together and hire people to take him out? Tim is a bad seed. Some people are just criminal minded. That's all he knew in prison was how to connive people and manipulate people. He was brought up in that environment as a young man from 17 and served 10 years. He was brought up in that environment. So why automatically assume that Andre robbed his grandmother? And I could tell that they presented text messages between Robbie and Andre concerning that. And Miss Robbie was saying, if you didn't do anything, I'm paraphrasing, why are you running? And Andre is saying, Grandma, I'm not running. I just don't want to get hurt over something I didn't do. And that's why, he didn't want to come back to St. Louis. A female, and we don't know who, that was brought out, a female told Andre, Tim is after you. And in return, Andre told some people, and he did not want to come back to St. Louis. The only reason he came back is because Miss Robbie wanted him to take that lie detector again. And I don't care what anybody say, Andre loved his grandmother and he wanted to show her he had nothing to do with it. Oh, it's a lot of things I could say, but I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to keep this short. It's so much I could say, but I'll put in the description area, but I'll tell you now, for a blow by blow, and he went to the court, he went to the court, Vell, Randomness of Vell. He went to the court, and he took notes, and he came back, and he had lives and some of it's on video of what was said and what was the testimony in the court. Let me tell you one thing. He did say that Tim had lost a lot of weight, at least about 100 pounds. That his face was sunken in, and he don't have them hips. People at tease Tim called him hips. That he don't have them hips anymore. He's very small framed compared to what he was. Now, he's not eating that sweetie pie's food. He's not eating, other foods. He's been eating prison food. So maybe that's why. But in my opinion, that may be part of it, but in my opinion, I believe that Tim is so evil and crafty and manipulative. If he walked into court looking the way he was, he would look intimidating. I'm thinking it's possible that one of the main reasons he lost that weight or wanted to lose that weight so he would look less intimidating to the jury. Now, I may be all off base, but that's what I think. Part of the reason that he lost that weight is to give the jury a certain image with it, He looked a little weak himself. No, I don't buy anything that Tim does except he has a reason to do it to save himself from whatever. And in this case, to save himself for spending a lifetime in prison. Someone asked on the live, what do you think the defense attorney's strategy is from this day forward? And Vell was saying confusion. The defense team wants to confuse the jury. They want to confuse the facts. They want a hung jury. They want a mistrial. At one point, it was said that Tim just, he had his head down like he was reading. He didn't say anything throughout the trial. And then he burst out. I forget whose testimony time it was. I think it was Travail. I didn't do it. And people looking at each other, and the attorney had to, settle down. And the judge is saying, like, you need more time, and, does he need some time to gather himself? Just the theatrics of it all, in my opinion. Just playing the part. Just being a part of the skit. And then Travail is up there. It appeared, from what I'm gathering, that he's all, his allegedly his brain is just fried, because he even admitted that he used ecstasy and Molly every day. And he came up there, not crying, not nervous, just chilled and kicked back, chilling, like he was unbothered by it all. So I'm going to stop there, because, oh my gosh, I cannot fit into the little time that I wanted to share this. I cannot fit the days of trial into this, few minutes. I just couldn't. And I really don't want to. I just wanted to come on and say, I hope everybody that was involved in the demise of Andre Montgomery, while they're on this earth, we know everybody's gonna get their rewards after death, or their judgments after death. But while they're on this earth, I want everyone to get what they deserve and more for the senseless unaliving of Andre Montgomery. He did not deserve that. This young man was 21 years old, just beginning to live, and who knows what his life would have been. It could have been, bad things he's done. It could have been good things. We don't know what this young man would have accomplished in his life. But whatever it was, no one had the right to take this young man's life. And then to find out his uncle, his father, who was unalived years ago, his deceased father's brother. I mean, how much hate does it take? I'm sorry. Tim Norman is a bad seed. That's all I got, guys. Yes, this is a trigger for me. And some people know why. But it's not about me. I'm just saying this is very close to me. And those of you who have watched Welcome to Sweetie Pies and watched Tim grin in his face and do this and do that, knowing he had this plot against this young man. But then he showed his anger. I don't know whether they took it off air or edited it, but I personally saw Tim sock Andre in his face. Some people said it was in his chest. That's maybe another time. But I saw Tim sock Andre in his face. And Andre took it. He just took it, which probably made Tim even angrier. And all this time, and yes, I went to Sweetie Pie's in North Hollywood, and I saw Tim, and I was going to, not Tim, Charles, and I was going to say something to Charles, but when Charles, I went to the side of the restaurant, and Charles was coming out the door, and he went into the bathroom. And guys, if you guys could have seen his face, I didn't know at that time, the news had not come out, but he looked like he was sick, that his spirit was just weak, and he just looked pitiful. And a few days after that, I think it was, the news came out that Andre was gone, that he had been unalived. And I just, because it was the same time, I didn't put two and two together to know, oh, that's why he looked like that. I'm glad I didn't approach that young man unless I had something really encouraging to say, but I didn't. So I didn't approach him. And I'm glad I didn't. But anyway, let me stop there. I just want to say one thing. Justice. I pray justice comes, and for Andre Montgomery. I pray that his death wasn't in vain. I pray that the unalivers, that's not even the word, the way I want to use it, the people that caused him to be unalive, does not get away with it, from the eldest to the youngest. Because I'm I and some people that I may be wrong, but I'm side-eyeing some people that had something to do with it, even in the slightest, and not telling the truth about things. So anyway, again, I'm going to let you guys go, and remember to go watch Randomness of Vell. Subscribe, guys, and give me a like for this video. It was a difficult video to do. Like I said, it's a trigger. For, in some parts of the trial, it was a trigger. So it might be a trigger for some of you guys also. So just, like I did, take it in small parts and try to digest it instead of taking the whole thing and trying to process it at the same time. You might have to do like I did. Just take bits and pieces and stop and try to digest it. But I wanted to hear how the trial was going. I want to know how justice is being served, and I want to know the sentences that these guys will get. Travell, Terica, they pled guilty. Tim and his ratchet self, not guilty. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. Have a good evening.